movie, right? You're my last hope, Obi-Wan. You're my only hope. Well, that was my last hope, and I got nothing out of it. But
Mm.
it struck me that it's never changed. It was always the same. So all the different people doing it did exactly the same thing. Since it was
Oh,
found, no one changed it. It was always the same. Everybody did the same thing. And it struck me odd because I used to have a full head of hair.
mm-hmm.
The moral of that story is everything changes. So,
That's
right?
true.
Yeah. So I thought maybe I went through all this depression and all this to find entrainment and to ultimately change it and adapt it.
Yeah.
I can't stop changing it and adapting it. I have 24 products, another 12 being released any day now, and I'm working on 55 others, and all of them have proprietary techniques and technologies that I developed that didn't exist before. And that's what changed my life. My own technology, when I realized that I needed to change things and I started feeling differently and I started feeling hopeful. And I went from someone who wanted to be dead forever to I want to live forever now.
That's cool. That's really
Yeah.
cool. I'm so happy you found that, solution, because not only did it help you, it's going to help so many other people out there. And that's probably making you feel better because you're contributing to society, right? And you went through a growing period, which also make you feel better too. It's like, oh, look, I can do this and this and this, and I can change it. And with life, you always want to grow and learn and do new things. That's the whole purpose of life. Why do you want to be stagnant and not grow?
I knew one of the interesting you put it that way because I went through most of my life knowing exactly what's coming next.
Mm,
That's not growth. That's just like I was Nostradamus for my own life. I knew I'd be miserable. I knew I'd be anxious. I knew I'd be depressed. I knew I'd be suicidal. I knew I'd be this. I knew I'd be that. I don't know what's coming 5 minutes from now. I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth, the next word. I absolutely love that. I love not knowing because I choose to believe that what's coming is good. Before, I didn't have a choice, or at least I didn't think I had a choice.
so you're braving uncertainty, which is wonderful because it gives you variety.
It makes me more creative
It
too.
makes you more creative,
Yeah.
yes, and more
And
complete.
without, sorry?
And more complete,
Oh, yeah. And not knowing what's coming and not believing in anything means that I can literally, not believing in anything makes everything possible.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
love that. Absolutely love that.
Yeah, everyone has a different perspective with their beliefs,
Mhm.
and you gotta adopt the beliefs that work for you, and they become your core beliefs, and if you are flourishing with it, there you go. So, and that's what's happening with you. So kudos to you that you found the
Thank you.
solution, that you're welcome, and you're helping others, with their conditions if they have it or other things. Not everybody has the exact same of cookie cutter problems, and that's why they need custom solutions. And that's what I offer too with my holistic, um, you know, strategies, because it all depends on whether they need something more for health or more for mindset, or something where with women we have intuition, right? So we kind of dig into our souls to find out what we can do. So everybody has a different way, a different tuning fork, so to speak, right?
Nicely put.
So yes. So yours is with what you're doing now because you're feeling so fulfilled. So I'm really happy for you.
Thank you. I'm happy for me too. One of the things about, I went through and I was telling you about all these things I was trying and all these people, they all had good intentions. It wasn't like they're not good at what they do. They're very good, but it just wasn't for me. It didn't help me. Uh, it kind of taught me that if I develop something, I have to develop something that doesn't involve me thinking I know what I'm doing.
Yes.
I take advantage of the person who's using it. So
Mhm.
it's a tool. What I have is a tool. The feeling better if they feel better, the experiences that they have, that's all them. It's
Yes.
not me at all. I'm not the wise guy who knows the universal secrets and I don't know anything. I
Nobody
think
does.
you know it though. I think you know for yourself. I
Yes.
think everybody knows for themselves.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of, you know, helping them to move the furniture so they can see the door, and then helping them find a key to unlock it.
Exactly. And changing the colors of what they see.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a nice way to put that too.
um, Now, you kind of told us a little bit about how you took something, the brainwave entrainment system, so to speak, that was out there, and you kind of modified it and made it, work for you. And you also constantly modify and making it work for others. So, how is this done? And how does it help others that you've seen that you've helped?
So brainwave entrainment works on the principle of vibration. The thing is, most people think that they hear us.
Hmm.
And in a remedial kind of way, I guess you could say we're heard. But in the way I look at things and the way, physiology looks at things, no one hears anything. It's all a matter of vibration being interpreted by different regions of the brain and then creating what we perceive as sound, what we call sound.
Exactly.
So it's all
Exactly.
vibration. If people aren't aware of that, just if you're listening to this on a phone or watching on a phone or a tablet or a computer, just put your hand over the speaker when either of us are talking, and
Yeah.
you'll feel the vibration of our voice. And that's basically what happens. So there's no sound, it's vibration. The brain works on the principle of vibration, it's all energy. So with brainwave entrainment, we pulse a beat or we pulse a vibration X number of times in a second, and that dictates the kind of state that neuron is in. Neurons are the brain cells, and there's
Right.
billions of them. So if we are pulsing, if our neurons pulsing 10 times a second, this electric impulse, you're said to be in alpha. If you say 3 times delta, 28 times beta, et cetera, those are just ranges. That's all beta means and alpha means. If someone ever tells you they're in alpha or they're in theta, they're highly unlikely they are. No one knows what they're in unless they're actually wearing an electroencephalogram, which is an EEG, to actually measure brainwave activity. I used to think, because when my mind was racing and thinking all kinds of wild thoughts and coming up with new inventions, that I was in beta until I put on an EEG while I was doing all these things. And I found I was dominant in delta, actually.
Yes.
There's a lot of misconceptions in the brain and how it works. And frankly, we don't really know. Like,
That's
there's
interesting.
less we know than we do know as
That's
far as how
interesting.
the brain works.
Because I know I like delta waves, especially when I get ready to relax to go to sleep. That's personally
Well,
for
you
me.
think you do.
Well,
You're
yeah.
identifying it as delta. Unless you're hooked up to an EEG, you don't know what
No, no,
the
no. Okay.
dominant state
So
is.
we perceive it differently. Everyone perceives it a little bit differently. Is that what you're saying, vibration wise?
Well, physiologically, they perceive it exactly the same. The brain works the way the brain works in a human being.
Hmm.
But there's a whole psychology associated, your parents, if you have a religious belief system or not, what you had for dinner. Did you have a fight with someone just before you closed your eyes? All kinds of things influence brainwave activity. And the thing about brainwave activity is it creates neurochemistry. So our moods, our thoughts, our experiences create brainwave activity to allow us to experience these things. If our brain doesn't create brainwave activity, we don't know something happened around us. You feel love, you feel hate, you feel excited, you feel bored. You don't feel any of that unless your brain creates chemistry that allows you to feel that way.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
Did you know that horses can sense humans from miles away, and they
I
sing,
didn't know that, but I'm not surprised.
and they sing to a human's vibration,
When
and
you
that's
say
why
vibration, what does that mean?
emotional vibration. So they sing
Really?
to it.
Okay, I
Yeah.
can believe that. Sure. So
And
do people, by the way.
animals can
People
do
sync
this
to other
because my
people's
cat does
vibration.
it too. He knows when I'm not feeling well and comes up and
Mhm.
goes purr, purr, purr.
Sure.
So it's interesting because, humans have this, intellectual idea about everything, but animals just do it without thinking about it.
Well, we feel that stuff too, though.
Yeah, I know.
I feel emotion from other people. I actually play around. There's a trick I do when I'm out in public that I absolutely love. Lots of people walking on the street. I'll pick out a certain person who's like half a block away, and I will just smile and send them loving, beautiful, peaceful energy. And almost invariably, you'll see someone kind of grin, a silly grin, and you can see in their eyes they have no idea why they feel good.
Yeah,
No idea at all.
yeah, well, actually, I was maybe a little bit more vocal. But during the time, where we were shut down, I would go running anyways, okay?
Hmm.
And, I would go running, and I have something called Happy Runner Chest. I would go running, and I'll wave to everybody, saying, "Hello," and else they well, first they're going, "Who are you?" And then afterwards, they actually were like, "Hi, how you doing?" And they got into
Yep.
it, and they start cheering up and things like that. And I just don't,
Hmm.
whatever the reaction was, I just, "Hi."
Well, you're 100% right. That's exactly the case. I'm not surprised animals are more receptive. Animals, I suspect, have a less complicated existence, so they have
Yeah,
less distracting them. I believe humans have just as much ability as an animal does to perceive emotion and to have attachment. There's no question in my mind that that happens, but humans are, you know, people think they're smart. And in a way, we are. But the problem with thinking we're smart is that we think we're right.
true. Need to be
And
open
that's
to
a problem. It holds us back, I think. And
yeah.
the emotion. And you mentioned something interesting that I was going to pipe up about, but now I will anyway. You said women have intuition, implying men don't.
No, no, I'm saying women
Men,
are known for that, that's all.
well, women are more open to it. Men
Mhm.
tend to push it down and ignore it.
That's
Because
interesting.
that's society. Society brings us up that way. There's a lot of people who are said to have psychic abilities. Most of them tend to be women. And I often wondered, I wonder why that is that women, because I get these feelings all the time. I get senses from people, and I'm rarely wrong. As long as I don't emote or intellectualize them. If I don't try to interpret them, if I just feel them and go with whatever the feeling is, I tend to be right.
Hmm,
Now, I'm obviously not a woman,
right.
but I think women are allowed to be more in touch with their emotions, with their senses, with their
Yeah,
feelings.
it's the way they were brought up, right?
Sure. And women also have hormonal differences because, like they give birth, they carry, I don't know what it's like to carry a life around in me, unless it's a cold virus or something, you know, not exactly the same kind of life you
No,
might
it's
carry
not.
within you. Yeah,
And you're not a seahorse, so I'm sorry.
that's true. I am not a seahorse, although I used to be quite a good swimmer, but not that.
Okay. That's funny. Um,
Yeah.
well, we're having a really interesting conversation, but I'm gonna kinda change it up a little bit.
Sure.
I'm kinda interested in, what TMM is with the Brazilian army or the military, that you
Okay. So
mentioned.
thank you. So TMM is actually, I'm not a fan of TMM personally. It's just a naming convention. When I first started this business, it wasn't a business. I was pulling myself out of a deep, dark depression. And the very first recording I ever made was a large, large part of that. Well, I was a member of a guy's list in Singapore. Like that's where he lived. And it was an email list. And it was a self help list. And he sent a lot of stuff that helped me to learn things and help me to feel a little bit better. So when I had this recording, I sent him an email and I said, "Hey, I know it's odd for a list member to gift something to a list owner, but hey, I'd like to do this. You help me. I'd like to share this with you. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I don't want any money. I just want to, have you try it." He got back and he said, "Sure." So I gave him this recording and he said, "I'm a Chinese national living in Singapore. English is my fifth language. I understand it better, I read faster, and I remember it longer when I use your recording."
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So we ended up going into business together just because of that. And that's how it all got started. Just from I just wanted to give back. And he saw potential and he saw how it affected him. And it ended up turning me into a career from someone who was $250,000 in debt, making about $100 a month at the time.
Mhm.
Severe depression makes it tough to live and tough to work.
Yeah, I understand.
So I ended up, meeting with him, and it just kind of ballooned from there.
Well, that's fabulous. And you've been growing ever since.
And I've been going ever since. I apologize. Sometimes I get off onto a tangent. So I didn't actually answer your question, did I?
No, it was regard to the Brazilian military.
That's right. So when that happened, I started selling my first product, Quantum Mind Power, and someone in Brazil stole my website.
Mm.
So TMM stands for the Morry method.
Mhm.
That was the long story of how the Morry method came to be. He asked me, "What you're doing is so different. What do you call it?" I didn't have a name, so I just off the top of my head said the Morry method, and he said, "Okay, we'll go with that."
Okay.
What happened is this guy in Brazil stole my website. He didn't just steal my website; he stole the product and he stole my face and my name.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awful. More than awful.
and he took out the English. Oh, sorry, Gemini thinks I'm talking to it. I'm gonna turn off my phone because apparently
Okay.
just silencing it isn't good enough.
So he stole everything, including your
He
name,
stole
and
everything, including my face, my name, everything. He took out the English spoken word aspects of the quantum mind power system. A captain in the Brazilian military found his website, bought the product from him. So I didn't even know. I got nothing for it. And he contacted me through the Brazilian embassy in Canada. And I thought it was a joke because I have a friend who works at CSIS,
mhm,
Canadian Intelligence Service.
mhm.
And I thought he was spoofing me. But it turned out I checked the number it came from, and it actually came from the Brazilian embassy in Canada. And he asked me if there's a way of doing, he said, "Look, I've tried your work. It's absolutely phenomenal. I want to do a study." So that's what happened. We teamed up with the Mato Grosso University in Brazil,
Mhm.
and I designed a protocol for them to use. And they found that it helped in every metric they measured. And apparently it's used by the military police in their training
Wow.
because the students are they don't get a lot of sleep. They have to actually work and study 8 hours of study, 8 hours of work, 8 hours of sleep. That's how
Wow.
they work. It's very tension filled. And the police don't have a great relationship with the public.
Mhm.
And yet they found that the students who were actually using my recordings while they were going through all of this had much better relations. They slept better. They had better scores. They had more patience on all the metric scales for rest and physiology. They were all higher.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah. So out of something bad, someone stealing my work, I got $250,000 research study done for free.
Wow.
So
That is wonderful,
yeah,
and just imagine these people are calm enough to be restful.
yeah.
That's a major accomplishment. Kudos to you.
Well, not me. It's really them, right? I mean, it's a
Right.
tool.
No,
If
but
people
it's a
use it,
tool
they
that
get the
they
benefit.
used, and you came up with this tool, so you need to
Sure.
take some credit for that,
Okay.
right?
Well, thank you. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. All right. Well, let's see. Now, can you share with our audience what they can do right now, um, so they can help themselves feel better?
Sure. There's actually, and it's not involving buying my stuff. So there you go. I mean, the easy answer is, yeah, buy my stuff. But actually, I developed a very simple routine that I defy anyone to not benefit from in as
Okay.
little as a month. So here's what happens. Let's assume we're all awake today and our day has started and we're all doing our stuff. So what I want you to do is I want you to pretend that well, I don't want you to pretend. I want you to look for things that make you grateful, that make you happy, that make you smile. It could be anything. A butterfly flitting away, a bird, a baby cooing in a cradle, anything at all. It doesn't matter what it is. It can be a leaf falling from a tree, and just the way it was falling gently just made you feel nice.
Yeah.
Anything at all. At the end of the day, you're going to need to remember 10 of these things, and you can't write them down during the day.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you go to sleep at night, before you go to bed, I want you to have a pad of paper near your bed and a
Mm-hmm.
pen or a pencil. And I want you to write down 3 times each of these 10 things. So 10 things 3 times each.
That's
It can be
perfect.
in point form. It doesn't have to be long form, just point form. Then when you wake up in the morning, after you do the usual things you do right when you wake up, I want you to go to the same pad of paper and write those same 10 things down again 3 times each.
Mhm.
Then the next day, same thing. Just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. It doesn't matter if it's the same thing as yesterday, as
Mhm.
long as you actually experienced it today and it made you smile.
Yes.
Okay. Do that. And then as you fill up the paper, so you can write these things down. But as you write them down, eventually the paper is going to get too full and too cumbersome. You can write on an angle, on a circle, however you want to write. Once it's all done, I want you to just put the paper aside and you start a new paper and a new paper and a new paper. So at the end of every week, you're just going to flip through the papers.
Mhm.
You don't even have to read them, just flip
Mhm.
through them. The reason why this works to change your mood, to change your outlook, to change everything is
Yes.
you know that you're going to have to remember 10 things during the day for
Yes.
nighttime,
Mhm.
and you'll be looking all day long. If you were able to write them down at the beginning of the day, by 9 o'clock, you'd have 10 things.
Yes.
This way, you're always looking. So it's training you how to look for good things in life and good things
Yes.
around you.
And that's really important to build up that gratitude. They end up being like sand grains in an hourglass
Mhm.
or millions of grains on the beach. I live in Huntington Beach.
Uh-huh. Well,
So,
that's not just it, though. The handwriting, the
the
writing it
handwriting,
down
yes,
forms
helps
neural pathways
Mhm.
in your brain. And
Mhm.
I believe that when you write something positive, it actually creates a positive neural pathway. So that's giving your thoughts an option to find something good to look for instead of something bad to look for. When you go to bed at night, it's not just forming these things, but the last thing you did before you lie down and close your eyes is think and write these positive statements.
Mhm.
First thing you do in the morning when you wake up is you're thinking and writing these positive statements. It starts your day beautifully, it ends your day beautifully. It trains you to look for the best things in life. I have yet to come across anyone who actually does this and within 3 or 4 days doesn't start noticing a different feeling in their life, a lightness, a joy.
No, it really does help when you're depressed. I've done it myself. So, and gratitude journals are very important because writing it is a way of getting it ingrained in your brain, like you said.
Literally.
And yeah, etching it in your brain, right? And and it's interesting when you do these type of exercises, you're opening your mind up to seeing even more every time. So at first you think it's hard, and it's like, no, 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 it's not that hard. You're making it think it's hard. It will become easier and easier over time. That list is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and you're going to notice I have a lot to be grateful for,
Yeah.
and that's what I encourage my clients to do too.
Well, think about it. Feeling good feels good for a reason. It's not random. Feeling bad feels bad for a reason. It's not random. And believe it or not, feeling good and feeling bad are equally beneficial to you
Yeah.
because feeling good lets you know you're doing and or thinking the right thing. Feeling bad lets you know you're doing or thinking the wrong thing. I find it amazing how when the red light comes on the dashboard in your car, everyone takes care of it right away, or most
Mhm.
people take care of it right away. When the red light on the dashboard of your life comes on, you ignore it.
Yeah, exactly, unfortunately. But when you feel good, you are at a higher vibrational level emotionally. And when you feel bad, you're in a lower vibrational level, like fear, doubt, and frustration. So it's important to release those feelings so that you
Yeah.
can elevate vibrationally.
I just want to clarify when people talk about vibrationally that you want to be vibrating higher to feel good, you want to vibrate lower to feel bad. That's actually completely inaccurate.
Well, that's
But
what I
in a way of talking,
yeah.
it's more of a descriptor for talking than it is in reality. Actually, in many cases, a lower vibrational level will make you calmer and more sedate and feel better. So, just to clarify.
It's emotional. I'm not talking, I'm talking about emotional states bringing you down. It's almost like an anchor weight.
Right, so a higher vibrational state to you is just a higher emotional state of
Yeah,
better
it's like you're
feeling.
going up in a balloon.
Good. Okay. It's just that I've
Okay.
had too many people telling me, you want to have your brain moving at a higher level and everything. It's just people sometimes just they don't think things through. And I just
Mhm.
wanted to be careful that people realize that if they go after higher vibrational states in their brain all the time, that can actually lead to a lot of problems.
Yeah, pretty much
So this
like
is figuratively speaking.
I'm
This
doing
is
it
not.
figuratively. So
Yeah.
for instance, if you want to go higher, you need to, and I use the balloon metaphor, right? You
Sure.
need to cut those balances.
No, that's 100% true. It's just I have a little bit of a thing about that, so as if you
No,
couldn't
but that's
tell.
my whole point is
I
that,
just wanted to
but
clarify for people out there that they
right,
might
right. But
try
you
to.
need to let go of those negative things.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what I help people do. And I personally have been there. I've been in a depression, not as much as you have, but
Mm.
and I've been in frustration and doubt. And I realized as soon as I just said to hell with it, which is like more of a negative statement, right? And
Yeah.
just went for it, everything opened up and more opportunities came my way.
That's brilliant, and I think that's right. You opened yourself up to seeing it. The
Yeah.
law of attraction is an interesting law because people make laws, nature doesn't make laws. So, law of attraction to me isn't really anything about attraction, it's more about observing something that was there the whole time. I can't tell you how many times I've looked for my blue light glasses
Hmm.
and I go, "Where are they? Where are they? Where are they?" And I'm wearing them. Or I've looked for my house keys and they're literally in my hand. I'm ready to go out. I have my keys. And just as I'm going out, the phone rings or something happens to distract me. I take care of the distraction. And then, oh, where's my keys? Where's my keys? Where's my keys? They're in my hand the whole time.
Yeah, that
So,
happens because you're not
yeah.
paying attention to what's going on. I do that with my sunglasses sometimes.
It's nice to know
Oh,
I'm not the only
they're on
one.
my head. They weren't down,
Yeah.
but yeah, it just happens, or the distractions make you just have to sometimes retrace your steps to find where things are if you need to.
Yeah.
But yeah, distractions kind of put you off,
Sure.
off track. So
But it's natural, people shouldn't beat themselves up over these things.
no, they
Uh,
shouldn't.
just
They
have a
shouldn't.
laugh. And you know what? We're the funniest things in the world when we look at the silly things we do and we don't take ourselves too seriously.
True, very true. Okay, so now we talked about what you would share. I love what you were sharing because I also share it too. And let's see. So why don't we talk about your offer in more detail today so people know exactly what they're going to get? And then afterwards, I'll give them the link.
Okay. So can you just remind me as to what
Alpha,
the
you're gifting the Alpha Flight.
right. Okay, perfect. So Alpha Flight was designed for a psychiatrist who was dealing with a group of people who were high powered executives who traveled a lot and they had jet lag and they were nervous and they were stressed and all these other things. So she asked me to create a shorter recording, about a 15-minute recording that would allow them to de-stress, that they could listen to on the airplane or on the way back or in a car on the way home from work before they go. You don't want to listen to any of these things when you do go. So alpha flight is in the alpha state, pretty straightforward there. And it's in a special frequency that just allows you to unwind. What you hear in the background is going to be shh. Kind of sounds like white noise.
Like a waterfall.
Yeah,
And
kind of, but it doesn't vary.
yeah, it doesn't vary,
It's
right?
going to be a stable tone the whole time.
Okay.
It's 600 tones, like frequencies overlaid on top of each other individually. Most of them are there to block external noises that might disrupt the entrainment. The rest of them are there to hyperactivate different regions of your brain. And the reason why I want those hyperactivated is for the brainwave entrainment tone that you're going to hear, which will sound something like this. Ba, 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 ba. A lot of people liken it to a MRI almost because like boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
boom. That's how your neurons behave. So the idea is to get your neurons to start firing that electric pulse in the same manner that your neurons pulse naturally, but to follow my pulse instead, the pulse rate. That way, it releases different neurochemicals and endorphins and hormones that lead people to a more relaxed and subdued state.
Okay.
So, with the alpha flight recording, that's what happens.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And all you do is an ordinary pair of stereo headphones. You lie back, close your eyes, or you sit back in a chair with head support, and that's it. That's all you need to do. There's nothing to read, there's nothing to study, there's nothing to learn. It all happens automatically because of something called the frequency following response, which is the same thing that makes you tap your toes mindlessly when you're listening to music that you like.
Oh, cool. Well, you guys can get this tool at https://bit.ly, bit.ly/Morry, which she spells with a capital M only, Morry. Then capital A for alpha, and it is alpha with a PHA, and flight with the FL, not bite, but flight with a capital F. And I have utilized it, and I've really enjoyed it. And I know that you guys will find it beneficial too. So get it and try it for yourself. You have no idea how something's going to work for you unless you give it a go. And Morry, would you be my guest again on a show in the future?
It would be an absolute honor.
Okay, great. This show turned out really wonderful. So thank
Oh,
you.
thank you.
For being on my show. Now we may have some time to do some closing remarks at the end. I'm just going to, start doing what I need to say, and then I'll have my engineer bring you back. Okay?
Sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So remember, I revitalize your health and help you have a clearer mindset by helping you correct your gut. I guide you to clean, toxic-free foods, as well as high quality nutritional supplements that helps reduce your symptoms. And as well as it can help you release weight if that's what you need to do. In turn, it will uplift your mood. With my mindset coaching, I help you release stress and reduce emotions and entanglements from the past. Your mindset will be strengthened and your body will be more efficient with what I have to offer you. But you need to ask me about my programs at my complimentary consultation button of my link tree, which is https://www.debi, DEBI, changes, CHANGS, lives, LIV as in Victor, ES.com/linktree, LINKTREE, all in lowercase. And when you do that, you get to know me and I get to know you, and I'll guide you to optimal health. And at that same site, you will see my programs, and the ones that are open right now will be the Take Your Body Back program, which you want to go to the next, thank you, which is that 12-week weight release and mindset coaching program where you can get to create a new version of yourself in an avatar board for you to succeed. And like I said before, it's 12 weeks on Zoom. The first one's personal to you to go over your health. You get to choose between 2 different programs, and I give you directions on one of them. And you get to create that avatar board for you to succeed. And with the remaining weeks, we will be celebrating wins, which is that positive stuff that we were talking about, building up your gratitude. And we will be looking at your gaps where I give you health and mindset tips to get you through this. You will become a new you. So take advantage of that. And also the Y Fast is that intermittent fasting program that gets your cells and body humming, in turn boosts your metabolism and everything else that intermittent fasting program will do. Plus it has unique high dense nutrition and nutrients where it isn't a program with exercises and recipes. So you can simply ask me questions, or if you want to utilize a small 2-week or 4-week program, you can do that. And I'll guide you through the process. Then my services are also part of that site where I offer 2 different Zyto body scans. And I prefer the Zyto link scan because I can actually do scans internationally all over the world. And I've done one in someone with South Africa. What's great about it is the transdermal optical imaging app. that I share to your phone. You scan your face for 30 seconds, and it looks only at blood flow. And it's looking for energetic, functional, and emotional in different body systems and lifestyles. And it generates a wellness report, not a diagnosis, of biomarkers out of range and products and services that bring back into range. The report is quite intensive, so I help you understand it. And it does cost $50 to have the scan done. If you move forward with my services, you will get a discount on my programs or my products, which is a $25 discount. Now, my services for the Zytolink are already discounted. You can get 5 scans for the price of 4, and that saves you $50. And people are really amazed what their body tells them with this body scan, and you will be too. So get your Zytolink scan done now. And for a limited time, I'm offering Debi's coaching chats, which is a complimentary 30-minute coaching session in an intimate group setting. It's not recorded, and it's based on a topic of a survey. So you'll learn how to optimize your health, ways of releasing stress and emotions, how to harmonize your hormones to have a healthier body, efficiently releasing weight, and have a winning mindset, which gratitude has a lot to do with, and how to utilize this mindset for health and weight release transformations. Also, you will learn how to create a new version of yourself in the avatar board. And it's on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. And you do need to be registered for it. So you would go to https://bit.ly/Debi with a capital D, and I spell my name DEBI, immediately followed by a hyphen, coaching with only a capital C, and it's spelled out, and chats with a capital C, and it's spelled out with an S at the end. And you will obviously learn about how my coaching happens, as well as what I do for you. Now, finally, I do have a way that you can learn more about alternative health events and promos and my upcoming shows by subscribing to my newsletter. And I give you a 30-day health and mindset daily action journal, because writing the stuff down is really important, not only to review, but to remember what happened. And so I give you this gift of this journal. You record your gratitude, your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. You record the foods you ate, the water you drank, the supplements you took, and the exercise diet on a daily basis, as well as you want to review it on a daily, monthly, and weekly basis. You can also track your measurements. And you want to review it on a daily, weekly basis so you can see your wins and celebrate them, find the gaps you can work on. If you need help bridging that gap, then utilize me for coaching. This is a great health and mindset awareness tool. And I know that you found this show educational and informative, and also enjoyed it. And you're welcome to reach out to me for programs and my products and my services and Morry's offer, which is at https://Morry with a capital M, Alpha with a capital A, and Flight with a capital F. So do we have some time? Maybe not. Sorry. So we'll continue to enjoy my radio and TV show, Debi Changes Lives, where you can continue watching my show on Thursdays at 3 p.m. Pacific and begin your holistic journey.